basic little synopsis story. Part 5 of the Exodus ESTINY is story I created about 20 years ago, and just coordinating the thoughts I have in memory about it. Here came in the people. All right, and here came in the Western United States these people who were meeting up with the observatory, space observatory location, where there was this special astro scientist or aware tech. I'm going to slash IE NUU, and the people came to sing NUU UUU, or at the time when I wrote the book, it wasn't NUU UUU, but there you go. All right, so, and yes, the people were gathering or being called and came from Africa and other places, and a small number to meet up and sing NUU UUU in this desert, western Arizona, or California, wherever, is the location that I had. And we were observing the aliens that are part of this storyline. So I'll just share that storyline, and then remind me to make sure I don't forget to talk about some things that are going on here, because things are getting really strange in the communications, and it's just, I think that I'm experiencing this similarity of the people that are being used to work for the alien that's involved in the story. This part 5 is about these locals who are being hypnotized or sleepwalking at night to a place where they are working for the aliens who keep them under the sleep state while working. And they had some form of mind control electronics using the satellite network of stations around the globe, and hypnosis kind of effect. And the hero and his girlfriend set about to activate some kind of reversal of the EMR wave and feedback loop, or what I call the mirror effect, something like reversing the polarity on the solar energy field back onto its source. Let's say that the aliens were beaming down waves or rays onto the solar electronic fields, power station, and this was there, or they were piggybacking on this satellite feed, and that created a mental programming control dynamic, and it was in this area that I said this observatory was able to become aware of this, the astroscientists, etc., and using the awareness or use of the tech observation of these activities. And this is part of the other parts where it's almost like at the end of each part, the beings that have become aware of, or that were active, the heroes and heroines, that they were aware of this and waiting in some sense for something. Some of them gathered in the last story, part 5, where they were gathering, and not necessarily just coming to. Some of them got the calling to come to the West, United States, and others were wherever they were, as we've experienced, and this happened, has been happening in the last 10 years here with us and NUU and etc. And wake-up call, and so that was a projection that I had been aware of and didn't know what it was at the time I had written it, and I also wrote, in the Arizona desert, the light-tech aliens are abducting humans to do repair work or a mining project at night, repair work on their ships or what have you. One of the other stories was on the other planet of Exus, where the blind boy was involved with becoming aware and eventually also did some kind of a reversal polarity, or let's say using the new wave, or creating some kind of a field like a gamma ray, that explosion that occurred on the Exus planet at the end of that story, and then it was sent out across the local galactic universe. Our local galaxy is just one galaxy of billions, so the whole thing is like this huge reprogram or recreation, let's say like a simulator A here and simulator B on planet B, or solar system B, or star system B, etc., whatever. And the galaxies are like that. There's billions of stars in our galaxy, billions of galaxies in the local cluster of galaxies, and then there's another spot they call the Great Attractor that is the center of all the galaxies, supposedly. And okay, so there's all this other astronomical coordination, proof of this activity and simulation and universal so-called dynamics or whatever, and creation. Okay, so now I'm becoming aware of it, and the counter effect, let's say, of what we do by using real awareness or working with the NUU UUU vibration and the frequencies and so forth and so on. Okay, that's what do you call that? Compensatory? That's not the right word. Something like that. It's multi-dimensionally coordinated, and it's present in every singularity. I heard the guy, the astrophysicist, or whatever, Neil deGrasse Tyson, is very popular, and recently he went on, he was on something describing astrology, and of course the astronomists are not at all in agreement that astrology has any verifiable, but some of them recognize that there's something verifiable in its association, but they're able to delineate the difference between it and the astronomical projection. And part of that for Neil deGrasse is the holographic perspective. Hypnographic, I call it, holographic projection of consciousness and planetary systems. And so he's interested in this, and this has happened with Darwin, I think, and Einstein, in that they were also looking for something, let's say, to explain, either discover a God particle or become aware of a God that was beyond or was of the Lord of creation, one or the other. Part of it is to really get to some kind of ultimate theory of the universe. And so those things are all kind of filtered into this integrated picture. And of course, most of the astronomers are looking at the astrologers saying that they're really off, and some of them are wanting to explore the razor's edge difference between the two, which is why I just used that, because we talked also about Roy Scheider and 2001, which was definitely a projection of this consciousness and some kind of the light being, which was presented in the movie as a child at the end of 2001, godchild, if you will, and or an angel watching over the planet. And in 2010, they came up with it at the end, as Dwayne said, with the two stars, with two suns, rather, that had been created by whatever happened on Jupiter and interdimensional. Same kind of idea that I also borrowed, or was some form of a real idea that we both borrowed, also common in writers and writing. And it's how a lot of things get misinterpreted, and they also recreate history this way, by taking the observations and then kind of looking backwards, as was mentioned today. In addition, going back to the source of, it's all interconnected. So Neil deGrasse was asking for this, and I think I have the actual picture of the real creation in the real universes, and I don't know how to reach these people, or even if they would listen, but I do think that he would listen. I was told I should write it all down by more than one person. Thank you, Dwayne. And send it to him and work that way on that. And so maybe, yes, this would, that's a step there. And the idea was, maybe he will listen. Now, this is all curious in this way, that I was talking about the double image and the duplicity, or the polarity effect that we get when we have communications and we're telling stories, and then it's interpreted by the people, or that the words that are said are not the actual words that were said, or that they were what the sentence was misinterpreted into the viewpoint or the idea that the person already had. Such as, let's say, if I tried to share something with Neil deGrasse, and he's referring to the old idea of what the astrologers are presenting, whereas I'm not trying to do that, and it could be misunderstood that way. So I pulled this full circle because here I have some real communication problems. I mean, it's just, it's intense. I'm accused of interrupting everybody's, what they're doing, and they're telling me that I'm being overly verbose, and but other than that, also just saying things that I didn't really say, or interpreting what I said completely differently, and mostly, being kind of vilified. And I just had to go, what's really going on here? And all I could think of now while writing this was that the hypnosis effect is absolutely what it is. And I'm seeing the people like they have deer in the headlights. They're like deer in the headlights, and like if you looked at a solar field from the sky and you'd see this, all you'd see is this huge bright light that you couldn't really, it would be dangerous to look at, and I've heard that burns birds up, etc. And so the whole thing is all completely integrated like that. And so you trying to break through it and singing NUU UUU or keeping oneself in what I call a solar state of light, or in your solar being. What do we call it? The light body. It's kind of interesting there because, yeah, the light body is this thing that we all are in, that is able to recognize the real universes, and it is part of the projection or the relation to the lower universes and the lower bodies, and or that we can actually see them and be aware by it. So we're caught in the middle in that sense. It's one way of looking at it. No, 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 no.